Hello and welcome to the 6 o'clock club. And we've got some special guests with us tonight. We have the Icebreakers. Um, as in the title of this sort of live chat, live version of the 6 o'clock club, it's the third anniversary of the Icebreakers campaign. I mean, just where has the time come? And we are joined with three of our players so far. Normally, we have a contingent of anywhere between sort of 6 and 7 players, and we've kind of had a rotating cast. But most of our players here have been with us more or less from the start ish. Um, say hello, Icebreakers. Let's get you introduced. We'll start at the top with you, Michael.
Hello, I'm Michael, who occasionally plays imps on improv. Yeah, it's a really good campaign. I've enjoyed it enormously. I spoke to others about it. It's often the one which I most look forward to in the build up to it. So yeah, campaign.
Not sure you're allowed to say that, but we will talk about all of the things that we like and perhaps not so fond of in a moment. We'll go directly below me, which is UM.
Oh, I'm below. Okay.
Yeah, just say
Hi,
hello.
I'm
Who are
Em.
you?
I'm Em. Icebreakers is one of the favourite of my campaigns. I'm only
Excellent.
doing a couple at the moment. And I play Florence.
And last but not least at the moment, cross in the diagonal down there is a familiar face on the 6 o'clock club. Introduce yourself, Jack.
Hello, yes. So my name's Jack. I'm in a number of Andy's campaigns as well as improv and a few 6 o'clock sessions. Been here for the Icebreakers since the start, and yeah, really love it. Really happy for it to hit its third year and still going very strongly.
Yeah, 3 years. Where has that time gone? It is a fortnightly game, and we've missed very few sessions. So I've not actually done the math, but I mean, that's two a month. So that would mean 24 in a year, which would mean 48, 62. Is that right? Is that maths?
Yeah,
I don't
that
know.
sounds about right. Sounds
62
about right. Yeah.
sessions. 62 sessions.
Don't ask me about maths. No.
No. I mean, I was perhaps I should have done some thinking about it beforehand. Um, Before we get into the campaign, Jack has been very artistic and very generous and has created a new Icebreakers logo, which everybody can see on the screen at the moment. Jack, I don't know whether you can see it. Do you want to
I
talk
can.
us
I can.
through that? Because, well, first and foremost, well, yeah, talk us through it because we've called the campaign Icebreakers, but we've not really, for people who are not familiar with my chat about the Icebreakers, about the game world and the setting, and obviously the influence for the new logo.
Yes. So I mean, maybe. So I think the reason why we are called the Icebreakers, which is probably a good place to start, is that obviously set in the world of Critical Role in the world of Exandria. We all met in Isle Cross, a very cold, snowy area. It's called that because so it's representative of where we were met in a very cold area like that, and also we are not very good at breaking the ice. I think probably fair to say that we're not very good at making a good first impression, one way or another. So a little bit of both of that. I did, just to celebrate the 3-year anniversary, I gave a go at making a logo in the style of the Critical Roles logo. So like specifically the Mighty Nine in particular.
Yeah.
I really tried to sort of replicate that. So yeah, that's where that comes from, and that's where the name comes from as well.
Yeah, I love it. The I and the B, and it kind of looks like some kind of lethal weapon as well. Combination between some kind of strange punch knife stroke razor blade. Is that just my bloodthirsty imagination?
Um, not necessarily just your imagination. I definitely went with because I think we're level 12, but I think we're very strong level 12, and we have some very fun items, some very fun weapons, and I wanted to try and kind of represent that in this as well. So not pointing to a specific weapon directly, but there's a lot of things that kind of look like axe heads or swords and all the rest of it. So yeah, there is something there.
Good. I'm pleased it isn't just my imagination, because it says a lot about me. Okay, so I mean, let us mention the other players basically as well. There are the three of you. Unfortunately, because of work commitments, people can't get onto the stream at 6 o'clock. Hopefully, they'll watch on catch up. Currently, we also have James and Joe and Sarah that have joined us. James and Joe have been with us a very long time, and Sarah has only just jumped into the madness of the Icebreakers. I hope very much that they had a thoroughly fun time last session, and long may it continue. So that's the contingent at the moment. That is the current lineup of the Icebreakers, and what I kind of like, I don't like losing players, don't get me wrong, but having a rotating cast telling a story over an extended period of time makes it feel like a true epic. And we've had some sort of great characters that have been with us, some played by the same player, and some played and because of work commitments and everything else, I've had to leave the campaign. And I think first and foremost, a big shout out to Becca, who was one of the early players, and Becca still plays in a number of games, but had to relocate to a different time zone. So we miss you, Becca. And I'm sure we do. Do any of you want to talk about Becca's character? There is silence. Yeah, I mean,
I didn't know whether Jack was talking.
To talk over each other.
Yeah. Okay, she was she played a character called Brissa, which was amazingly good fun, and I think Becca was one of the first really to start doing some artwork for the Icebreakers, and did some absolutely amazing artwork, which we'll show you in a minute. Emma, you're escaping. Can you move to your right a touch, please? Because that's lovely. You are back in line now. I can see you. But certainly in line with Becca, Em joined us, and Em has started a journal. You started it right at the time that you started playing, really. And I'm gonna sort of call up an image of how it started, really, if I can get all of this to work. There you go. And as you kind of look, the second, well, not necessarily the second entry, but the second entry on this page is dated 2020, so the 11th, so it would have been November. Really cold. It's rubbish here. Felgar has put a jellyfish on his head and talking to it, but I can't hear anything. Welcome to the Icebreakers. It's absolutely brilliant. I mean, I've loved your recaps because they are always in character. But it just gets better because Emma is a fantastic artist. And how did that evolve with you from just doing the writing to start doing the actual cartoons?
So it's kind of inevitable because I'm me and I like to draw. It just mostly started off doing silly little sketches as Florence would, like little stick figures that gradually evolved into more and more intricate stuff as I then first cross-class, by the way, into Bard, which is, yes, I'm a Bardbarian, and that still entertains me.
Well, the second image that I've got from you is it's level up, and I'm sure you're familiar with this one because it's talking about the very powerful weapon that you obtained, and you called it an interesting name. People can see on the stream what you've called it, but tell us a little bit about that as well.
That would be Jack's fault. Because he called his weapon Careless Whisper, and we were going off a musical theme, and I just got into Bard, so it's made sense to be called Jolene.
Yes.
Yes, the Dolly Parton song.
As you can tell, this is a very serious campaign, and
Super serial.
there are so many in jokes. We kind of lose track of them. So yeah, that's how it started. So Becca played Brissa, and let's see if I can call up this. That is the logo. That is Jack. That is us.
I'm very sorry to interject. I'm watching the stream here, Andy, and I can't see the images of anything. I can't see any of Florence's scripts or anything like that at the moment.
It's showing.
I can see them.
Yeah, it's showing
there
up
you are.
very
Oh, can
much
you?
on my thing.
Oh,
And
okay.
to the right of the screen, there's a very big blue square, and in that very big blue square is pictures showing up.
Oh, okay. I think I'm just miles behind. I'm very sorry to interject there. I think
No,
my
that's
stream's
okay.
really behind.
Always important to know what is going on with the streams, but it looks like it's working for me.
Yep.
So this picture that we have thrown up here at the moment is a number of hands moving together with their fingers touching and bracelets showing. And this is a shout out to obviously Becca again, as tell us, Michael, because I know you've got audio issues, not being able to hear people, but if you can tell us, because you were one of the characters that received this gift.
Yeah, so I can see it fine at the moment. So yeah, we've got not only the hands of all the different players, from bugbears to warforged to various other creatures, but also specifically the bracelets that they all asked for, as far as what gems they wanted in it, which were gifts from Brissa. So yeah, I really like that. I think it's just one of the many sort of things that are quite cool about this group. It's the most artworky group I'm in, to say.
Yeah, no,
and it's really cool.
Beautiful. Let us call this one up as well. Hopefully you can all see that. This was a group piece of artwork. Brissa is at the bottom with the bow. Then we moved to Ace, and then Florence, then Miss Rusty, and then Rab, and then Felgar, then Kellen, and then I think that is probably Jahid, but James has played a couple of characters. So yeah, Jahid. Again, beautiful artwork, very talented players, and Emma has kindly allowed me to, I'm going to do this tomorrow, to put a lot of these images that Em did into the fan art section of our Discord. Oh, we've got another player now that is lurking.
Oh, we do.
Our newest recruit. Sarah, hello. Can you hear us?
I can hear you through
Excellent.
Michael's headphones, which is really surreal.
Thank you for joining us. Super excited for tonight. I've sent you a homebrew item. I don't know whether you've had time to have a look at it, but it is. If I was a player, I'd like it. So hopefully you're going to like it as well.
No pressure. No
No
pressure there.
pressure there. Yeah.
Excited, I might have to run off and go and look at it right now.
Yeah. But be aware, it is going to take an attunement slot before anyone starts. This is one of the problems as a GM. A GM, you kind of go, look, I want to be generous. I want to give like powerful items to the players. I want them to feel really good. They've got so much stuff now. It's no, I've only got 3 attunement slots plus 3 Vorpal sword. Throw that away. Don't want that. Oh,
Don't
dear.
need that. No.
Don't need that. No. This is the problem being a GM. You know, you can't win. You just can't win.
Just too nice. That's
nice.
the problem.
Absolutely. So there's a ton more sort of artwork that we'll show you, but we'll refocus on what I was talking about initially, which was the cast of characters. I think we also need to mention Adrian that played Felgar, our paladin, multi-classing bugbear first and foremost. And then there was a sort of quest line where he became reborn, which was very, very cool. Always with the Midnight Sun, a sort of home-brewed clan axe. Very cool, and we miss you very much as well. Then I believe both Jameses have played different characters as well, different characters, which has been very interesting. Again, propelling the story along in many ways. But what else I have got sorted here, if I can remove all of the artwork for the moment, is I've managed to do some technical wizardry, maybe. I say that.
I'm genuinely feeling terrified. It's smell-o-vision building up to Kellen.
Yeah.
No. No.
When I say it's technical wizardry, I need to refresh this. I'm piping in live our Fantasy Grounds game as we speak. At the moment,
crikey.
these are the character sheets from the game that we're playing. The first one is Rab. We use Fantasy Grounds for this. You can see the characters are 12th level, and Rab is currently a paladin of 12th level. And as you can tell from his stats, his armor class and his hit points, these are true heroes. And by true heroes, I mean they are very powerful individuals for their level. But this is the feel and the taste and the flavour of the game that I wanted to create. But as Rab isn't here to talk about his character, what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete Rab. But we have Mantis next. Mantis.
I'm sorry, I'm still getting very stressed that you just deleted Rab. It's gone.
That's just the power that I have. Do you want to talk us through a little? I've only just noticed you've got 8 strength. So I'm not going to abuse that now that I know that. Wow.
I wasn't hiding it. I'm literally.
Yeah, I know. I just need to pay more attentions. Tell us a little.
Andy, that's how character classes work.
I do rules and whatever. You know, I don't pay any attention to any of that nonsense.
I know.
I mean, there are some spoilers here for you if you didn't know the kind of split. So apologies to Michael if I am spoiling things. But talk us through your character a little bit, please. Background.
So, I mean, Mantis originally was in a different game, in Dungeons of the Mad Mage, which I played because Ryan, my son, was home and wanted to do some D&D dungeon bashing. So I created a character in that, who was my only ever character who came to a perfectly happy end. Stopped, just got to where she wanted to be. Is now looking after fish people. So I now needed to create a new character, and I created Mantis. It was a git. To put no point on it, he was the least pleasant character I've ever created. Loved playing off Richard's Mercy cleric, who seemed to still think it was fine to use Spirit Guardians and Moulinex people, because that wasn't hitting them. But when Ryan went to university, I didn't want to carry on playing the game necessarily, so I basically respec'd the character and his permission and moved it over into this game. My other character had come to a point where she really needed a bit of downtime, so I made Mantis nicer, considerably nicer, and tweaked their backstory a bit. So they are always like, when I'm playing a character that has really low charisma, to find different ways to play it. Original Mantis was, as I said, a git. He was just rude. He was not a pleasant individual. Other characters, like my previous character, Rusty, she's blunt. She doesn't understand the social niceties of things. Mantis is cripplingly shy. So everyone is being very generous by the fact that half of my time is spent typing in Mantis raises her hand, because she won't break into conversations, and people will say, Mantis, do you have something to say? And she'll say stuff. So she is sort of a visitor to this place. She's a fighter slash artificer slash rogue. She's a ranged weapon sort of expert. And yeah, she's one of the nicer characters I play. You know, they're all lovely, just misunderstood. But she's genuinely. I don't know really what else to say about her. I mean, she's.
Well, I think there's one thing that is blatantly missing from the character. I mean, you've got 3 classes, but none of them start with the letter W.
Oh yeah, this is a rarity for me. A non-warlock.
Yeah.
Pretty much all my other characters have some smattering of warlock. But what are you going to do, Chris
This
Murray?
warlock is amazing.
Yeah.
It is awesome.
No.
Warlock works because you have to find a decision that you did that thing.
Yeah.
I think that always helps when you're generating a character. Why did you do it?
No.
Is a great starting point. But yeah, it's one of my few non-warlock characters.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I know you. I know you. No, it's awesome. I really like Mantis as a character, and there's some quite interesting sort of backstory sort of going on there as well, which I'm sure you've worked out is, well, I'm not going to say anything because it's sort of backstory and not backstory that you know about, but resolution to your backstory is what I'm talking. He's gone. Not you. I'm talking about Jack. That's it. He's out of there. You're. Oh, has someone joined us?
We have a Sarah.
I think Sarah has joined.
Okay, joining us like this has mean that Jack has
Which I wasn't expecting.
vanished.
So.
No, that's fine. It's completely thrown all of the
I've
video
just
out.
shifted everything now.
Doesn't at all represent Icebreakers at all, this sort of random. Should now play Rollers.
But
I'm so
Welcome
sorry.
to the chaos.
no, I can.
So I was helping.
I can cope with this. So just give me a moment to rejig everything. And in that moment, what I'm going to do is I am going to delete Mantis. We've got Kellen. Unfortunately, Joe isn't here,
my God.
so I'm going to delete him. Same with
Delete
Jahid.
Callan. No, you can't delete Callan. He'll just rewind time.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
Just another version of him will appear.
So we have Hazel, which is Sarah's new character. If you want to say a few words, Sarah, about your character while I redo all of the visuals, that would be awesome.
Somehow seems appropriate that I've come and jumped in, caused chaos, and then I go, ta-da, I'm here. Which was not actually my intention.
It's
Sorry.
absolutely fine. No, it's the 6 o'clock club. We're all welcome here, even if we make a big mess of my sort of 8 hours of solid work getting this scene done. You know, did I mention about a magnificent magic item that I've just sort of homebrewed for you? Well, you can forget that now.
Yeah. I hadn't.
It's
I
now
was only.
cursed.
Yeah. I get that. It will. Yeah, destroy me ultimately. I get it. Okay. I'm cool with that.
In the meantime, fill some time whilst I'm editing everything, and please tell us about your lovely character, Hazel. and perhaps about the character that you're going to make after Hazel dies horribly.
You're feeling the
No
love,
pressure
aren't
there.
you?
Yeah, I am. I feel bad now.
There's nothing to feel
I was
bad
doing a nice
about. I
thing rocking up.
don't know how you're picking up that vibe at all.
Very weird. I mean, she's very sensitive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Hazel, who picked up the vibe, who stepped into the game. I've only played one game so far, and stepped in at what seemed like a very poor moment in terms of the state that the rest of the characters were in, having experienced a loss. Fortunately, Hazel is relatively attuned to people's feelings, so picked up the vibe and was quite chill, I hope, in recognizing that this actually wasn't about them and actually was a lot about, people dealing with things that they needed to deal with that she'd just kind of like suddenly kind of magicked herself into. And so it's an interesting experience jumping into a game at quite such a high level. So I'm not used to genning characters straight in at the kind of level that we're working at. So there's a degree of finding my feet with all the skills. But Hazel is a druid, and they are a Circle of the Land druid. So I thought I would go kind of a bit old school. There's lots of new kind of Circles of Druids, and I have played one of those. But I thought I've never played a Circle of the Land Druid, and I do like Druids as a class, and I thought that might be quite nice. So I don't know, do I give away what race she is? Fairly sure everyone knows anyway.
It's absolutely fine. It is. I mean, if you don't want to, this isn't supposed to be spoilery. I mean, it does say on the character sheet there, so anybody that's got a pair of eyes can actually read it. Other than that, your secret is safe with the rest of the world. Apologies.
Yeah. So Hazel is an Eladrin. So I very much aesthetically like the idea of something that's fairly close to the idea of a dryad, very in tune with the sort of planet and that kind of thing. So it's going to be interesting for me to play out some different seasons, and I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes. I stepped into the game in autumn, which was a relatively mellow kind of state to be in, but we'll see if I decide to sort of do my chance and go into summer. That could be some interesting times. Looking forward to that. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. She's designed to be a sort of bringing together kind of character, like a very positive kind of character, wanting to do right and all that kind of thing. So we'll see how they go.
Yeah, no, it's amazing, and genuinely, I'm very pleased to see you enter the campaign. It's great to have you back at the table again. Of course, we know each other because you've played it. Well, we know each other from the store days, but we also played in Cyberpunk and some of the sort of 5th edition games. And Cyberpunk will return. All of those books are on Humble Bundle now, and I'm very keen to do some Cyberpunk again. So I will be messaging you when it's happening to see whether you can fit.
I'm here for that.
Sounds like Em is interested as well.
Was that
You said the magic word cyberpunk. I'm in. It's what I originally cut my LARP teeth on. So I love cyberpunk as an aesthetic.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. And as part of the video scene, don't worry, I've corrected it. No one will have noticed anything. It's fine. We'll be able to cut it out in the edit, apart from we're live. So yeah, don't worry about it. Okay.
It always goes well live. It's fine. All is well.
Hazel, anything else you want to add before I delete that character and we see what lies beneath?
No, I think I'm good. I think I've caused my chaos, so I'm good to let the cycle move on.
Deleted.
I'm definitely looking forward to getting to know Hazel as a character, because Eladrin's been something I've been side-eyeing for a while, going, I want to play one of those, but it's that flow of seasons. I'm interested to see where you take it. Perfect.
Next up is Florence Emberstone, their character sheet up there. And as you can see, from Florence's own mouth, barbarian and bardbarian. Tell us about Florence, Em.
Florence is a very fun character to play because I get to do this voice the entire time. So vocal fry range is what I managed to do. Yeah, Florence was a bit of an odd one. I just went, I haven't played a barbarian Goliath, so let's give that a whirl and see what that's like. Steep learning curve from someone who always plays a rogue or a warlock usually. But yeah, that it was fun. And then I started inventing a backstory. And as Andy knows, I make a backstory and I don't shirk from it. So Florence is a Goliath who was found by two ex-adventurers who are both gnomes. So Florence actually had to learn she was adopted, kind of figured it out, obviously, because much taller than her parents, and is on a little bit of a quest to find out where she originally came from and things like that. So yeah, interesting.
I think tonight's game we are furthering the cause of that, if I remember rightly. So it's going to be exciting, very, very exciting to sort of see.
Find some shiny click-clacks.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, great character, and I love the way that that you decided to go bard for story reasons more than any other sort of reason. It was really nice. You enjoyed seeing Jack's character kind of doing that, and it kind of evolved through story more than anything else, really, didn't it?
Yes, be getting used to the performance side of it, and one of her mums it is a bard, which is why there was a lure to it. But it's been nice, kind of seeing the change in the character. We've also had the interesting thing of, for some reason, it's never on an actual attack roll, which you'd expect from a barbarian.
Yeah.
But I always get it on the wisdom rolls,
Yeah.
which no one ever expects from a very low wisdom character. So it's like, how do you know this random knowledge? Your mum told you.
Yeah. No, it is amazing, and I very much like open dice rolls and let the dice tell a story as well. And it is funny when those unusual things actually happen. Perfect. Anything else you want to say about Florence before we move on to what is beneath?
Yeah, I'm interested to see where she goes, because she's kind of sweetly naive, but also kind of violent as well.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It's not an individual you want to get onto the wrong side of.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The name choice was interesting though, because I remember this because I was reading to my daughter at that point in time, and there is a character in that series of books called Amelia Fang, and she has a friend who's a Yeti,
Right.
who's called Florence.
Perfect.
But this is like, again, the big, what you'd expect a big stampy monster to be, yet sings beautifully and dances very, very beautifully as well. And I just like the contradiction of a character who's actually quite sweet and lovely, but looks terrifying.
Yeah. No. It's a great that sort of contradiction, that shadow and light plays out really, really well. Yeah. I mean, you play it amazingly as well. Love it.
For good people to bounce off, it's been a brilliant group.
Yeah, it is a very, very nice group. And I think last but not least, beginning with an A and ending in E with a C in the middle, it's Ace. Ace by name, but Ace by nature. Tell us about him, Jack.
So, I mean, I think starting with Ace, I think it's interesting because I think he was my first like real character that I'd ever made. So I'd dabbled in D&D before, a one shot or two, but this was the first character that I made with like an actual backstory rather than just something for a one shot where that didn't necessarily matter or anything like that. So I think if you had a look at his sort of class and everything, it kind of looks like maybe that he is now part warlock, part bard, and part paladin. I think what I've enjoyed about that is that all of those decisions have all been kind of narratively focused as well. it does. It also so happens to help that those sort of multi-classes and all the rest of it have made him quite a strong character. But everything that was made was all done off the back of kind of all of the narrative choices that we were all making. So initially started off as a warlock when we first started at level 1, and as things progressed, he was still a grinner by trade, and it felt like a natural progression to move it into a bard. And then in the past couple of months, he's been fortunate enough to find in the Critical Role world a vestige of divergence, which has set him off at a completely different path. That maybe where he was. And what I've always enjoyed about I think like Emma mentioned, that the group bounce off each other really, really well. And I think Ace is probably my favourite character to play because he's a very high charisma person who's found like a family around him that he just sort of loves being around, and just being able to sort of bounce between all of these people is kind of he's in his element at the moment. And you were you were fortunate enough to grant me the nice homebrew that his patron as a warlock is some kind of fey version of George Michael, one way or another. And I think having that and all the rest of it, he's just a very, very fun player to play. And I think both from a role play perspective as well as a mechanical perspective as well, because I've had so many classes, I've got so many tools and tricks, and yeah, he's like I said, I think he's almost certainly my favourite character to play. He's he's nice.
A lovely build and interesting, and again, kind of because of narrative more than kind of sort of cherry picking what works. And I mean, yes, it can be argued that sort of paladin and sort of warlock, they get smites and everything else is strung. But I mean, the reasoning for all of this is got nothing to do with that. That is very much a side thing, with you finding this vestige, and you. I mean, do you want to say who your paladin-esque, who you are a champion of?
Yes, so we found the Deathwalker's Ward, a very strong and very flavoursome piece of armour that was currently being rocked by a Rakshasha. We took it off them, and and they found out that it was corrupted in one way or another. That during the Rakshasha's time with the ward, it's now been corrupted beyond the point that it's what necessarily sort of the Raven Queen wanted. So Ace has taken it upon himself to kind of don it, get it so it kind of fixed up, and he's currently sort of dealing with this kind of like dual patron, dual champion. So he loves the fact that George Michael is all about love and expression and life and music, and he loves the fact that the Raven Queen is about doing that in a specific time where celebrate the life that you've got, and then when it's time to go, it's time to go. So I think his next goal, so to speak, is to try and get this fully cleaned and really try and become the champion of the matron of Ravens.
Yeah. No, it's been beautiful to watch all of the characters sort of flourish and develop. It's a very narrative driven game. We initially sort of set it up. It was in Islecross, and it was fairly a sort of typical sort of quest line, really. You found, after releasing several unnamed horrors on Islecross by accident. Oh, there's a tomb. What should we open? Yeah, let's hope. Oh dear, that's a oh. What about what's in this? Oh yeah, it seems to be a demon. Oh yeah, there's some kind of thing from the calamity. Right. Well, should we leave Islecross? So they don't really know what's going on there at the moment. But they did uncover, whilst in Islecross, there was a pirate ship that was frozen underneath the ice, and they melted their way down into the pirate ship, and they found that this was one of the ships of the fleet of pirates that had buried treasure in 4 locations. And it's a very easy way for a GM to move the characters around the continent, because hey, you have this map to 4 locations of treasure. Sounds sensible to go and find it. So that has been sort of levels kind of 1 through to quite possibly 10, even 11. The kind of quest line, as it were, and of course there's been lots of other encounters. You certainly, I'll try and find M's art for this one, which I did cherry pick as well. We will remove Fantasy Grounds. That is not that one there. That is the final one. That's not that one there. We've got so many beautiful pieces of artwork that we are skimming through. I'm just doing it all now until I come across it, which is probably not the best way of doing it. I'm sure that I put it into the stream. Excuse me whilst I try and work out what is going on.
I think whilst you look for that.
Yeah.
What I was trying to do before this was try and think of some favourite moments or specific things that have really stood out and that kind of stuff over 3 years. And I'm not sure if Michael can still can't hear me, but we had a really, really nice arc with sort of Michael dealing with some inner turmoil of his previous character, Miss Rusty.
Yeah.
Going into the mind of Miss Rusty to clear out some, some kind of sort of dual inheritance of the body. I think both the character was done brilliantly, and as a DM it was run really well, and it was a really nice arc to outside of sort of the treasure hunting. Yeah. Outside of the treasure hunting, it was really, really a nice, and it was such a nice fitting end to where the character ends, and Miss Rusty now in lore is having a nice time, just having some downtime, and it was really nice to be part of that arc. It was really, really fun.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Intense. That one was intense.
Yeah, there's been some good. You travel to Rothold, where there was wild magic surges going on. You travel to that temple to possibly Ukatoa. You came across a lord of the empire, and he was up to no good, and you dealt with him as well. So you've had all of these, I don't like to call them side quests, but things that you've encountered upon your journey. And then you all decided to return to Rexingtrum to follow up leads on various bits and pieces, and then around about level 12 or just before it, you just all got hit with your backstories as the plot basically just kind of exploded in several different directions, and you're now in the process of moving forward. It's gone from we're searching for something in the world to you now being, it's part of your story, what is actually happening, and that for a gem is very exciting to sort of see. And I'm very, very much looking forward to it. I've just thrown up one of the earlier sort of group shots of the Icebreakers, and it's just reminded me. James used to play a tabaxi called Rab, who was a monk, and in the early days he got very unlucky in the fact that he seemed to come across sort of enemies that would mind control him and then punch the living daylights. It was just coincidence. It was just the way that the dice happened, and but I've just remembered that was very much a theme for a while, wasn't it? Oh no,
Yeah.
Rab has been possessed again. He's not
Seems to have turned into our version of Worf.
Yeah, absolutely.
So everyone knows that trope. It's like, he's the strongest character, so we're going to have something kick that guy to
Yeah.
show how hard it is. and it just seemed
And
to
now
turn into that trope.
you've driven him
of
into a
Ninja.
class that is resistant to that. So
Yeah.
that's the effect you've
He's
had.
just gone, nope, I'm done.
Scared us, but it resist.
So yeah, that I mean, it's been a fantastic 3 years as I begin to reminisce. Does anybody have any favourite moments that you want to share with me or the audience? Anything that leaps to mind? If not, we can talk about the future.
I think it was one of those early ones for me,
Yeah.
where we completely ad-libbed an entire thing because it's one of the first times we did rollies like properly.
Yeah.
And I think it ended up with Florence and Brissa being the ones having to tell the stories, and I think me and Becca just completely made up random stories off the top of our heads
Yeah.
from our pasts. So I think Florence's was first love, and something along the lines of what's the weirdest thing that's ever happened to you?
Yeah.
And I didn't include that picture because I'm pretty sure it would be struck
the
down on
duck.
YouTube.
The duck model that I seem to remember.
Yes,
some
the
sort of
duck
ice.
model.
Yes.
The
Yes,
duck
the duck
model that was
Indeed.
mistaken for.
We all
There was
remember
something
that.
else
We're
that
all
was mistaken
scarred.
for the duck model, and it was very scarring. But it was very fun.
We've had some great moments, and like you say, some of them are just inter-character interactions and improvising off each other, which is a beautiful thing for a GM to sort of watch, sort of grow and flourish. And I mean, the Icebreakers are the group that excels at. Okay, we're just going to go to a tavern now and play rollies. I'm not sure whether everybody knows what rollies is. Does somebody want to describe what rollies is?
Yes,
Jack?
yes, I can. Because Michael and I have
You are
some audio
normally the main
difficulties.
instigator to this.
Let's do rollies.
Rollies is a really fun idea, and I love it for so many reasons, both in and out of character. Because I think it gives players just an opportunity to maybe talk through some backstory or integrate some areas of the characters that otherwise you might find a bit tricky. And it also just nicely sort of just ties in some relationships, and it's just fun. It's just a nice way to spend some time. And I think I said, like you said, specifically within this group, I think we could comfortably just have a 3-hour session where it's all we do. So in character, we're around a tavern, and in character again, we have 20-sided dice. We all roll it at the table, or we roll it on the Fantasy Grounds mat, and the person with the highest score gets to ask the person with the lowest score any question they want. It could be anything, and like I said, it's just a really good platform just to do some nice fun role playing, and it's always when we might bust it out every once in a while and all the rest of it. It's always just dead fun for us, and it's
I mean,
it's a really good.
I was going to say one could say it's a great icebreaker.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. And it's a
Given
really
we've
good.
got a game in 10 minutes, I think that was very funny, Andy.
Thank you. I
Great
appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Marvelous.
No, I mean, it's been 3 years. It's been a genuine pleasure to have you all at the table. And a big shout out to all of the players that have been part of that process as well. And just looking at the level that you are now, and it's taken you 3 years to sort of get to level 12. I mean, he's looking to the next 3 years, because I don't think that this campaign is there's so much that we've got to tell, so many tales that we've got to search. So genuinely,
So much backstory to cover.
I think that who
I
can tell?
think it is a very critical role campaign.
Yeah.
It is very much that because of the nature of the groups in, and there's a marvelous lack of egos, and no one's trying to kind of showboat. There's always the chance for the spotlight to come onto one particular character and their story, and the others support it, and that causes people to bounce off in different ways. So it's one of the most generous role playing experiences that I personally, I don't know how everyone else feels, and I genuinely can't hear what Jack feels the entire time. I've been basing what Jack says on your responses, Andy.
I mean, what Jack's saying
As
is
hand, that was
fundamentally
weird.
Ace is the best
King.
character, and
True.
you know, everything's all about Ace, and it's all about Ace, and he hates it when anybody sort of speaks. He's the hero. Blah 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 blah.
True. All true.
Yeah,
To be
I'm looking
fair,
back at this.
I do feel like Ace has been shoved at the front a lot of the time. It's like, you're the talky character, go!
Yeah.
I just like to think that Ace's ethos and sort of the group's ethos of we will leave every place better than we found it is
Yeah.
largely to make up for Isle Cross.
Yeah.
It's trying to balance that.
What happened when we just went, bye?
Well, I mean, let's face it. We all know at some point you're going to have to deal with that mess that you made as first level characters, and I'm very excited to see what happens when and if you do.
Let's go fight that demon.
I mean, you could become like level 20 characters and go, you know what? Let's explore the plains instead, as Isle Cross is still
Crumbling.
Where are we going? To the Feywild. Bye.
Don't come back and see the whole place covered in ice with monsters. Who knows how these things happen? It's weird. How did this start? Who knows?
Absolutely. Well,
Clearly,
yeah.
it was just demons.
Just
Indeed.
demons.
We've only got 9 minutes to our actual game, so I think this is a perfect point to bring it to a close. It is going to be our 3-year anniversary game. Lots to do, lots to sort out with your items before we further the story more, and I'm super excited to see what you're going to bring to the table tonight. So first and foremost, thank you all for joining me. I hope you had fun sort of chatting about the campaign and your characters. Thank you everybody in chat for staying with us and watching. If you're watching on catch up, yeah, this is truly a very special game, and I'm privileged to be part of it. Tomorrow night it's the 6 o'clock club again, and I will probably be chatting about the weekend games, the week in review, and everything else in between that. And no doubt I'll be talking about whatever happens in tonight's game. We're taking bets now in chat. So big thank you to you all. Take care. I will see you all in 8 minutes or so.
5 minutes.
Yeah. Thank you for taking part. Really appreciate it. See you very, very soon. And thank you, chat, as well.
Bye.
Bye-bye, everybody. Catch you all tomorrow.
Bye. Right.